Hi, everybody. Showing you today some CDs from the 50s to the 70s. As here's some of the songs back here. Some great stuff. Jerry Lee Lewis, Dion, Gary Lewis and the Playboys, and my favorite girl group in there, the Shirelles. And that's just one of the CDs, and I'm focusing on the name of the guy who put these CDs together, that being Dick Clark. And here is a photo of Mr. Clark in his younger days, a photo I got off the internet. And Dick Clark, of course, jumped into glory when he hosted American Bandstand in the 50s and 60s, and Bandstand went on through the 70s and 80s, but if you've been around me for any length of time, you know 50s and 60s are my favorite kind of music, and stumbling around here on YouTube and finding old episodes of Bandstand, I think I'm just going to watch a couple minutes of it and move on, but I find myself watching a good portion of it. Just like seeing the dancers in a simpler time in the 50s and the early 60s. Love hearing the music that was played. In fact, a Four Tops song I hadn't heard in a long time. I don't know that I'd ever heard it, actually. 7 Rooms of Gloom I found in an episode of Bandstand recently, and now I'm listening to that song a good bit. 7 Rooms of Gloom by the Four Tops. But about Dick Clark, a fine host. I think his American Bandstand helped pave the way for MTV before they got into other things, and music videos, music TV shows, and whatnot. And Clark had some very fine guests on Bandstand. Freddie Cannon was on multiple times. I think Dion was on. I know ABBA was on in later years, and Hall & Oates had some fine guests. And Dick Clark's abilities didn't just include Bandstand. He hosted various versions of the Pyramid Game Show, $10,000 and $20,000 versions in the 70s. Hosted a $50,000 version at one time, and the ones I used to watch when they were on in reruns back when I was in high school, but they actually aired during the 80s, the $25,000 and $100,000 versions of the Pyramid. Terrific game shows I couldn't get enough of, and Clark was an honest man. If someone gave a bad clue or did something wrong, he wasn't afraid to tell them, but if he thought something good had happened that wasn't rewarded, he'd appeal to the judges for that too, and in some cases won his appeals and got contestants money as a result of it. It was also common for me to rein in the new year with Dick Clark on TV, as he was the host of New Year's Rockin' Eve for a long time, and he didn't seem to age, it seemed like, at least not as fast as other people, and seemed like he was superhuman, but unfortunately, late in 2004, we were reminded of just how human Dick Clark was, as he suffered a stroke. And though he continued to host Rockin' Eve, after that, voice wasn't nearly the same. He did put up his best effort, though, that I certainly admire. And then, sadly, on April 18th, 2012, I think that's the date, April 18th, 2012, we lost Dick Clark to a heart attack at the age of 82. Still, his legacy lives on. I still watch the Pyramid Game shows sometimes. Like I mentioned, I watch old episodes of American Bandstand. He was a fine MC, very good at his job, and his legacy lives on even 11 years after he's passed. As I again show you some of the CDs, is Dick Clark. Certainly someone I've looked up to for a long time, and still an influence on me. I can't deny that, to the point that when I found out of his death the day he died and the day after he died, I was announcing high school baseball games. I actually closed out my broadcast the way he used to close them out. You know, not to steal from him or anything, I just wanted to honor him. And I'll kind of close out this video the way he used to close out his broadcasts. Again, no copyright infringement intended or anything like that. Just out of respect for the man. As I'll have some more videos down the line, I'll talk to you soon. For now, it's Devin Robb. So long.